Your Omaha High with Andy Greenberg is being sponsored by OnCue Marketing, Best Buy Benches, OmahaFastFoods.com, Certified Transmission, Omaha Magazine, Monahan Financial, Shold-It, NP Dodge Real Estate, Valpak, Kohl's Pharmacy, Centrus Federal Credit Union, Ideal Water. Welcome to Your Omaha High with Andy Greenberg, the show that will leave you feeling great about yourself, Omaha's heroes, and Omaha, where we live, work, and play. So park yourself on the bench and have fun. Hi, and welcome to this week's edition of Your Omaha High with Andy Greenberg. You tune in every week to learn about ideas that inspire you, that motivate you. And we do it in 3 different ways. The first part is we give you usually 4 motivational vignettes. However, today, I'm sorry, there's only going to be 3. We then talk to you about an organization that does some marvelous things right here in Omaha. And today you're going to learn about people who can't read and what happens to those folks and who actually supports them. And today you're going to learn from a champion. You're going to learn what it means to be a champion. You're going to learn what it means to train to be a champion, both from a physical point of view and a mental point of view, and how you can be the champion in any profession or in anything that you put your mind on in your life. Now, who's going to teach us how to do all of that? One individual who's perfectly capable of doing so because he's living his dream. And that is none other than the world lightweight champion of the world from right here in Omaha, Nebraska, Mr. Terrence Crawford. Terrence, thank you so much for joining us. And behind everybody, there is always someone who's the trainer, the manager. And each and every one of us needs that type of a person. And we have Brian McIntyre, who is here today with us also. And he's the one that has actually taken this individual and brought his skills and talents to be the champion of the world. You're going to learn for yourself on how to do it. But first, we're going to start off with some very interesting information about America's Got Talent. Now, how many of us actually watch that show? Oh, come on. You can raise your hand. You know you do. And I'm not going to be focusing on the people that go on that show and kind of make fools of themselves, because, by the way, when they do, that's a life dream that they have satisfied because that's what they want to do. But I want to talk about the individuals that go on who have the talent. And you know what? They get judged. They get judged by the 3 people who were there, and they actually get judged by you. Now, I want to take, for example, someone who's a singer. They get up there and they sing, and they get judged, and they do a fine job. The one that is able to perform is the one that stands out over the plain singer. The individual that can entertain, however, stands out among the performer. And of course, the one that we always remember is the one who is the best entertainer, the one that really got to us. Now, bear something in mind. Each and every one of them have a basic skill and a basic talent. It's that one individual that took that skill and that talent and took it all the way to the top, and they are judged. Well, I've got news for you. Every day in your life, every day in my life, we are being judged. No, it's not a talent show that's on stage, but it's a talent show of life, because no matter what profession we are in, somebody is always judging us. Someone is always evaluating us. Now, you could be fearful and you can say, well, they have no right to do that. I know what I'm doing. I don't need anybody to judge me. I'm as good as I'm going to get. Well, that's not true. Because whatever skill and talent that you have, I want you to learn from that talent show. I want you to take that to the next level. I want you to show it off. I want you to be the best in class. I want you to be the one that the judges turn to, the supervisors, the customers, your team members, and say, that individual has a skill and talent. That's why they were hired. But they are taking it to the highest level possible, and we're going to judge them for advancement. We're going to judge them for the championship. So you have an option. You can go to work every day and just do your job. Or you can go to work every day knowing that it is a talent show, knowing that your talents are being evaluated against everybody else that has the same job as you do. And your option is to always take it to the top. And when you do, you'll succeed, and you'll get higher and higher each and every time. Now, the other day, I went to the mall, and I used to wear glasses, by the way, until I had a surgery that says I don't have to wear them anymore. And the funny thing is, when you go into that store and you need new prescription glasses, by a show of hands, how many of us buy the exact same frames that we wore for the past 2 years? Zero. You know what we do? We all do it. We bring somebody with us, and then we evaluate all the frames that are up there. And then we pick it out. We want the frame that will best fit our image that we feel about ourselves that day and that part of our life, and we change the frames because we want to change our image. But we only do so once every 2 years when we're forced to, but that does teach us something. Teaches you something. You can change your image. You can change your style. But the question is, why do you have to wait until you need a new pair of prescription glasses? Well, there's cost involved. I got it. But in your life, you can change your image anytime you want. You can change your comfort zone. You can change your appearance. You can change the way you look. You can change the way you look to yourself, and you can change the way you look to other people who are always looking at you. Because you do it when you buy glasses. And you know people that you've seen, even if you don't wear glasses, that all of a sudden they come into work or you see them in a social event and they've got a new pair of glasses. What do you say to them? Hey, you know what? You look good. You changed. I like the way you look. I want you to take that idea and each and every month, not every 2 years, take a look at your image and say to yourself, what is it that I can do today to change my image? I don't have to wait for something to happen. I don't have to wait for an outside stimulus. I can do it now. You know why I can do it? Because I want to. Because I know what it means to me. I know what it means to go someplace and somebody says to you, hey, you look good. Hey, you look different. Do you change something? And by the way, when you change your image, you can do it 2 ways. First one's easy, physical. Second one is as easy. You were going to think I was going to say harder. It's just as easy. Change your mental approach. Change the image of the mental approach. When you look in the mirror and what you think other people look at you, you can change that mentally. You can get yourself more enthusiastic. You can get yourself with more energy. You can get yourself with more passion just by changing your image. And you know how easy it is when you go to that store and you see all the different frames. You've done it before. It's time to do it again for you. And you know, I've got another interesting question for you. How many times do you go to the store, if you're men, and if you're a woman and you go with your man, and you buy a pair of shoes? And these shoes, by the way, have laces. There's something very interesting when you try on a pair of men's shoes. I want you to think for a moment how those laces are on those pair of shoes. Just think about that for a moment. You know what? They're usually looped over the top, aren't they? They're not crisscrossed, they're looped over the top. So what do? We take them out of the box and we do one of 2 things. We either try them on the way they are, which by the way, most people don't, or the salesperson will take those particular laces and relace them. Exactly right. They'll do it crossways instead of over. And what does that mean for us in life? That means when life brings you something, don't accept it for what it is. You can change it. You're the one that could lace it up. You're the one that can actually take anything in your life that is delivered to you and pretend for a moment that you're buying a pair of shoes. And then you can say to yourself, I don't accept it. I don't like it. I've got the opportunity, I've got the right, I've got the obligation to change the way the laces are in my shoes and to change the way my life is. Do you hesitate, by the way, to take those shoes and change them? Absolutely not. You do it quickly. Should you hesitate to change something that is thrown to you at life, be it good or bad, by the way, because you can improve on anything that's good? The answer is very, very, very simple. Just adopt the same thought. Take those pair of shoes, take the laces of life, just rethread them, redo them, and customize it to the way you want it, anytime you want it, and all you need to do is take that mental approach and get it done that way. So let's kind of review the 3 different ways that we talked about today that will allow you to really take wherever you are in life now. By the way, as I always say, it could be great or it could need improvement, doesn't matter. You always want to improve. And let's once again remember, when you go to work tomorrow, when you do something that has your skills and talents, say to yourself, I'm on America's Got Talent. I'm the one that's going to stand out. I'm the one that's going to be judged terrifically. And remember to always change your image whenever you want to. You have that right. You have that opportunity. You've done it before. Go ahead and do it again. And of course, the last one that we talked about is your shoelaces. You change the way it is when it comes out of the box, you can change your life. Every day that you wake up, every day that you take an opportunity to look at it. So as I always say, you've got a choice. You can listen to these vignettes and say, you know, that's kind of creative. It made me think. That was nice. Or you can take those and pattern and change your life each and every time that you take that opportunity. Now, next week when we return, you're also going to be having an additional 4 motivational vignettes, but I want you to make a commitment to yourself, not to me, to yourself, that you're going to take those and you're going to add to the portfolio of your life by changing them, because that's one of the reasons that you tune in to your Omaha High with Andy Greenberg. And in a moment, I'm going to be telling you about a wonderful organization that you need to understand and you need to learn about. How many of us are able to read? All right, we all are. Let me tell you something about an organization called the Literacy Center. It was founded in 1970 by a librarian who wanted to help adults improve their literary skills. For over 40 years, the Literary Center has provided one-on-one instruction using volunteer tutors that are oriented and trained in the phonics-based Lubick curriculum. It is amazing that 16% of the people in Omaha, Nebraska, where we live, are functionally illiterate. This means that they struggle through the day because they can't read well enough to order from a menu, fill out a job application, or help their kids with homework. That is 16%. The Literary Center educates over 500 adult students with the support of nearly 100 community volunteers from the Tri-County area and with one-on-one tutoring and small classroom instruction in basic reading, English as a second language, and GED. To get involved, contact the Literary Center, learn more, visit with them, and help those 16% learn how to read. And now we have the opportunity to introduce you, as I mentioned earlier, to the WBO lightweight world champion and his trainer. We have Terrence Crawford. Terrence, thanks again. And Brian, thanks again for being here. So we're going to start. And you are the world champion. When did you first ever realize that you want to be a boxer and that you want to fight?
Well, I first realized that I really wanted to take it serious at 13.
Okay, 13 years old.
13, and that's when I got in the gym and really started pursuing being the champion of the world.
So at 13 years old, let me see if I understand this correctly. At 13 years old, you had a vision that one day you're going to be that champion of the world.
Correct.
Now, when you told your friends that, how did they respond?
Well, you know, everybody know me, and I don't take no for an answer. So
right.
They was just like, okay, but they never said, no, you ain't, or...
Okay. Do you think they believed you? I mean, were they just trying to be nice to you? Do you think they really believed you?
I don't think they believed me.
No. But did that bother you?
No.
No.
No, it just gave me motivation and, you know, pushed me to work harder in the gym.
And that's something that each and every one of us should learn from. Because we all have goals, we all have aspirations, we all have dreams. And we have a support group. And I know for myself, when I have an idea, my group says, Andy, you'll never get done. And just as Terrence said, that's what motivates us. So you have a choice. When you have a dream or vision and you ask people whether they think you can fulfill it, if they say no, get rid of them. You don't really need them. If they just are nice to you, that's when you motivate yourself and you just use the following words. I'll show you. I'm going to get it done. So let's go back and let's envision your very first professional fight or even amateur fight. How did you feel going into that ring? How apprehensive were you, or how confident were you?
Well, my first pro fight and my first amateur fight, I was very confident. You know, I was 8 when I had my first amateur fight.
I'm sorry, 8 years old?
8 years old. And I was 20 when I had my first professional fight. So I just always been a confident kid. Never.
And that has probably made you as successful as you are. Now, Brian, when did you become his trainer?
I started really working with him, I guess he was about 9 or 10 years old.
See, I didn't know that. So you actually started, so how did you guys meet?
In the gym.
Okay.
I've been knowing him since he's been born.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so obviously you're older.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know his mom, dad, sisters, brothers,
right.
grandpa. I know, you know, we all grew up in the same neighborhood. And me and his dad and his uncle used to box together.
Interesting, interesting. So did you come to him and volunteer to help him train, or how did that work? And what makes you a qualified trainer to begin with?
The trainer, we shared the trainer together, and he's a much older gentleman. And so he started training me to train how to train Terrence and some of the other young kids in the gym. So I kind of just pretty much just fell in that role, and it's been in a role ever since.
That's a very inspirational story that I actually didn't know. So when he began to train you, did you resist his training, or did you say, hey, just show me what to do and I'll follow it? What's the dynamics? How does that work?
Well, when he first started training me, you know, I used to always come to him every day, you know, because Midge Minor was getting a little old and he couldn't hold the mitts for me anymore, you know. He would tell me the things to do, but he couldn't show me. So I would go to Bomac and be like, can you hold the mitts for me? Can you show me this? Can you show me that? And Midge, he'll be outside the ring and he'll tell Bo to show me something, and Bo would get in there and be physically on hands showing me.
Interesting. So from a training point of view, you used to be a fighter and now you're a trainer.
Correct.
Which one do you like better?
Well, I like fighting better, you know. Training's not bad. It got its perks.
Right.
But as a fighter, you in there in the action. It's one man versus the next man, and who come out who's the better man.
Right.
And you know, that's what I love about it. You know, who got the biggest heart. You know?
So it goes down to heart.
Yeah.
So is it the fire in the heart? I mean, there's an old expression called fire in the belly.
Right.
So you've got to have that when you get into the ring. There's nothing like, hey, you know what? I'm just going to take it easy today.
Right. You gotta have a lot of will and determination.
Sure.
And that's all bundled up into how big your heart is, and you know.
So how do you train a heart? I mean, I can understand how to train physically. You go to the gym. How do you train a heart?
You can't.
You got to be born with it.
You gotta be born with
You got to have it.
Either you got it or you don't.
So when you see an opponent, or you measure an opponent, in addition to their record and their physical attributes and who their trainer is, can you measure their heart from far away?
Well, it just depends on, you know, their present and their past.
Okay.
You know? You can tell by like their recent fights if somebody broke them down.
Right.
Did they show heart or did they fold?
Interesting, interesting. So that's the heart, can that be related to tenacity, not giving up?
Right.
Yeah, and that's all part of a person. But I kind of believe, by the way, that you can actually teach that and train. It's not easy, but it can be done. But I just want to review for a moment so far what we've talked about. Number one, there's the determination. Number two, there's the trainer. So in the goals that you have, in the dreams that you have, who's training you? Have you reached out to anybody? Have you reached out to anybody who cares enough to come up to you and say, hey, let me help you out? In addition to that, have you trained anybody? Do you have the skills and talents, by the way, the answer is yes, to work with someone that you know and train them to make their goals, to make their visions come alive? And that heart, that determination, that passion, that belief, that tenacity is all part of your success. You add those together and you'll take whatever you want in life and become the champion and ruler of your destiny. So let's get back to the boxing for a moment. We see people coming into the ring and there's a whole lot of noise and there's people. What goes through your mind as you're taking that walk into the ring, and what role does the trainer play in that whole episode leading up to the fight?
Well, leading up to the fight, you know, I'm focused, I'm ready, I'm filled with energy to get in there. I'm kind of excited. My coach, he just keep me on my P's and Q's.
Okay.
Know, telling me this is what we work for, smooth.
Ooh, I love that. This is
know.
what we work for. That's beautiful. Yeah. This is what Terrence, we're here. We're working for this. Stay focused. Don't let the noise get to you, right? Don't let the distractions of life get to you. Don't let the distractions of everybody rooting for you, because this is what we're here for. I love that. So you're walking up into the ring, you go under the ropes, and there you are, center of attraction. How can you measure how he's doing the moment he gets in under those ropes? Can you get a feel for where his heart is and where his focus is at?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I constantly, watch his every move.
Right.
How he walk. How the type of music he listened to in the dressing room. Just everything. The way he put on the shoes.
Right.
if anything maybe not going right, it's my job to make sure that it goes right, or maybe too many people in the dressing room, or it's not the right music or something. So that's where I come in at and get things in order so he can be comfortable.
So I'm going to take a leap of faith, because you always see the athletes and they have their earphones on. I'm going to take a leap of faith that you're not listening to Mozart or some concert.
No.
What kind of music do you listen to?
I listen to all types of music. I listen to hip hop, R&B, jazz, you know, blues. It don't matter. You know, it just depends on what type of mood I'm in.
Sure, sure.
You know, sometimes I like to get filled with energy and listen to a lot of music with high beats and fast beats.
Sure.
Sometimes I just, when I get in my zone, I just like to listen to something smooth.
Good, good. Now, do you pick his music, or do you do it?
I do.
You do it. So what happens if you pick something that your manager and trainer just doesn't think is right for you? Sounds like that's happened before, the way you're reacting.
No, we go along with, you know, what he want to listen to, because you got to understand something. He's the one getting in there, putting his life on the line, you know, so he has to be comfortable every shape, form, or fashion, from his music down to the socks that he wear. So if it's not done right, it's my job to go get it done right, you know.
Excellent. And that's what you want to be as a trainer for other people, and that's what you want for other people to train you. You want them to look at everything you do. Sometimes people get offended. You can't look at what I'm doing every time. I don't like that. Stay away from me. No, the opposite. You've got to let them into your life. You've got to allow them to share with you what their insights are. You've got to reach out. You've got to ask for feedback. Now, before every fight, and this is the part I love about watching fights, the stare down the day before at the weigh-in. What happens there? What goes through your mind as you're staring down the opponent?
Well, for one, you want to stare in his eyes and, you know, see if he really, you know, prepared to die in the ring. You know, you want to see if he's going to take that little itch or step back or step forward, or, you know, just the little slightest twitch. You know, you can be like, okay, I got him. He's nervous.
That's great.
You know, so.
Now, do you teach anything as far as how to respond in the stare down, or is that just part of his psyche and makeup?
That's all on him. Man.
That's all on him.
That's all on him. I do kind of antagonize him a little bit, like walking down, step closer. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the background. You ain't gonna get, hey, you about to get your butt kicked, man. You know, but hey, it's all a part of the game.
Oh,
man.
absolutely. But I just love that part. So, who decides when the stare down's over?
The promoter.
Okay, so they say enough. Yeah.
Turn, face the cameras.
Okay.
Take a picture like that, then you shake his hand, and then get ready for the fight.
So your last fight, and I'm not going to really be talking about the fight, but it leads into a question. You won by a knockout.
Right.
So what's better? Because you mentioned before you're going to look in someone's eyes and say, you're ready to die, which is, I like that approach, by the way. What do you like better when you win a fight? A decision, a TKO, or a KO?
Oh, it's always the KO, man. You know, the KO is the best part.
Yes.
You know, when you can just leave it up to nobody.
Okay.
You know, you stopped him. The ref didn't have to stop him. The judges didn't have to score the fight. You was the judge, and you was the dictator, the one that said it's enough.
So you go into that ring and you say, you're getting knocked out.
Right.
And you will stop at absolutely nothing. I'm not going to get into boxing strategy because I don't know enough about it. But for everybody in life, listen to this, it's very important. You always have opponents. You have opponents that are people. You have opponents that are events. Now you can do one of two things. You can flinch and lose. I'm not going to use the word die word, but you can flinch and you can lose. Or you could stand there with your trainer, with people who support you, and you say to yourself and you say to others, nothing is going to put me down, because I'm going to walk out of this event, and I'm going to walk out of this event as a champion. Not because others want me to be the champion, it's because I want to be the champion, and I've trained. Now, you still train a lot, right?
Right.
And what do you get out of the training?
Man, you get everything you need to win a fight.
Yes.
You know, you get your mind ready, you get your body ready, you get your stamina, you get your strength, speed, power. You know, accuracy,
All the
timing,
components,
everything.
every one of those components.
Everything.
So let's assume for a moment that for some reason there's a fight coming up, but you have no idea who the opponent is. For some reason they just put a substitute in at the very last moment. You know nothing about this person. How do you feel?
Well, I feel good for the simple fact I know myself and I know my trainer. We prepare for anything because you never know what type of fight that the opponent opposed to me.
Yes.
You know, you might see him fight one style against somebody else, and he might fight a whole totally different style against me.
Sure.
You know, styles make fights, and we just prepare for anything that the opponent brings.
Excellent, excellent. So what have you learned? You've learned what it takes to be a champion. You haven't learned what it takes for Terrence to be a champion. You haven't learned the role that Brian plays. You've learned in your own mind, based on their experiences, what skills you can take from this conversation, what skills you should take from this conversation. You need to get up every day, just like we learned, and say to yourself, today's my day. Today is the day that I win. Tomorrow is the day that I train to win the next day. It's a constant evolution because guess what? As he's the champion, people want to take it away from him. Thank you so much for being on the show. Brian, thank you so much. It was great to have you guys on, and we look forward to having you come back next week on your Omaha High with Andy Greenberg, because next week we're going to have someone who actually entered into a competition against 1,200 people and won. He's right here from Omaha, Nebraska, but he's got other skills and talents too. This individual does a perfect imitation of a variety of American presidents, every one of them that you know. So we're going to ask him some mock political questions, and he's going to adopt the personality of the president of the time that happened, and not only entertain you, but inspire you and motivate you. So set your DVRs and be sure to return next week on your Omaha High with Andy Greenberg so that you can learn an additional 4 vignettes. You'll learn about a new public service announcement from a new organization, and you'll be able to continue your quest for a better life and stay high every time, because that's what you want. If you want to contact me until the next show, please feel free to do so by contacting my email address, speaking of Andy Greenberg at Cox.net, or my website, andygreenberg.wordpress.com.
Greenberg was sponsored by On Cue
Thank
Marketing,
you. Hope you enjoyed that.
Best
All
Buy
right, we wanna
Benches, OmahaFastFoods.com, Certified Transmission, Omaha Magazine, Monahan Financial, Sholdit, NP Dodge Real Estate, Valpak, Kohl's Pharmacy, Centrus Federal Credit Union, Ideal Water,